There's one thing that elitist white people are going to do. They're going to have a chalice. And when I was reading this story on The Independent, it made me feel sick to my stomach. So it said that Oxford University academics used a chalice made from a human skull potentially belonging to an enslaved Caribbean woman at formal dinners until as recently as 2015, a new book has alleged. It says the chalice was created by a sawn-off skull adorned with a silver rim and stand and was used for decades as a drinking cup. Professor Hicks also alleged that eventually it was repurposed to serve as chocolates instead of wine after it began to leak. What this goes to show is that these people will not let us rest. First of all, what kind of satanic are you guys into to the point where you're drinking out of a human skull? And to top it all off, it could be potentially a Caribbean woman's, not even potentially, because I actually believe it. It's a black woman's skull. What the f is wrong with you people? The only explanation I could come up with is that it's in your DNA. It's inherently ingrained in you to be evil. Evilness courses through your blood clot veins. Do you know that skull is over 225 years old? That is how long the woman has rested for. And as I'm reading the story, she's been passed around from pillar to bumper clock post. And people are engraving their names and this and that. It's sick. It's sick. And I don't give up if it happened 100 years ago, 10 years ago, yesterday. It's still fucking sick. And Oxford, if you know what's good for you, you better take that woman back to the Caribbean and bury her the right way and let her rest. You don't have her sitting up in your archives talking about, oh, she's going to be sort of, you know what? I hope she haunts your bumper clot dreams. I hope she haunts those halls. I pray that she gives you nightmares and that you can't sleep until you do the right thing and bury her. You can't do this to people's lineage. You can't do this to people's ancestors. Why do we have to sit here in 2025 explaining this to you? What the fuck has this world come to?
Patient was on.
He hurt. He got in the car. She got caught in the car for the dinner. Hell, look.
Why you ain't going my car, bro? You in here, bro? Bitch, I got this kid in your car. Are you dumb? Nah, don't do that, kid. Compose yourself.
Nah, that's crazy.
You in a public parking lot, bro? You in a public parking lot, bro? You drunk as hell. You drunk as hell. You left me. You left me, bitch, bro. Look at you, bro.
Who
this nigga, bro?
You know her, bro? We know her from.
Watch out, you want that? I don't want that number. Watch out, bro.
Yeah, he gotta be beat. I'd have beat him up instead of her. Look at her. Why are you still in the car?
So, what were Black Indians called before they were called Indian?
Before being called Indians, the people now known as Black Indigenous or Aboriginal Americans often identified with their specific tribal names and affiliations, such as Yamasee, Washita, or Yamakra. These names were based on their own languages, cultures, and territories. The term Indian was a colonial misnomer imposed by European settlers. Remember, their identities were diverse and rich long before these labels.
Can you tell me all of the Black Indian tribes?
Sure. There are many tribes with Black Indigenous or Afro-Indigenous heritage. Some well-known ones include the Yamasee, Washita, Lumbee, and Seminole, especially the Black Seminoles. Other tribes with significant Black Indigenous populations or historical connections include the Cherokee Freedmen, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Creek Freedmen. Each tribe has its unique history and cultural blend.
Could you tell me how some of the tribes were sold to the Caribbean from the southeast region, such as Mississippi and Louisiana?
Sure. During the colonial period, many indigenous peoples from the Southeast, including those from Mississippi and Louisiana, were enslaved and transported to the Caribbean. This was part of the broader slave trade, where colonizers displaced people to various colonies for labor. Indigenous people were often captured during wars or raids, then sold into slavery. The Caribbean's demand for labor led to this forced migration. This movement created a blend of African, indigenous, and European cultures, which can still be seen in Caribbean communities today.
Besides the Caribbean, where else were those Black indigenous people trafficked to?
Besides the Caribbean, Black indigenous peoples were also trafficked to various locations across North and South America, including the Gulf Coast, the Carolinas, Mexico,
p.m. Saturday night when a night of fun took a tragic turn. Police say an Escalade stopped at a red light. Once the truck took the left turn, 18-year-old Nyla Simmons, who was dancing on top of the car, fell off. Moments later, she was hit by a fire truck that was responding to a call. Nyla Simmons' parents at a loss for words, trying to describe what happened to their daughter less than 24 hours ago.
And it's a lot of people gonna miss her, but we ain't gonna never be the same.
I'm still in shock right now.
They say Nyla was attending a friend's prom send-off prior to the accident.
We just wanted the best for Nyla. Nyla, the incident, it's just tragic the way she died, but that's what hurt the most, the way she died. When Nyla was out having fun, that's what she liked, having fun, hanging with her friends.
Nyla was the youngest of 5. She graduated from Parkway North High School last year and was set to start cosmetology school at Grabber School of Hair Design on Monday.
I'm highly distraught that I don't get to see what she was going to become.
Her parents say they don't blame her friends. They were just teens being teens, saying no one could have ever guessed that the night would end up with Nyla losing her life.
But we all been young before. Yes. We all done did some type of things where it could have ended up bad for us.
The parents wanting everyone to learn from Nyla's mistakes, hoping this incident can stop another teen from doing the same.
Yeah, and we want all her people and her friends to take this and learn from it.
Don't get on top of a car, y'all.
Remembering Nyla Simmons as their youngest baby who lit up every room she went into.
Nyla was going to be an entrepreneur. Nyla was going to be great in this world, and it's tragic that she's not here.
Although police say the investigation is still ongoing, everyone involved did stay at the scene and cooperated with police.
Now I want to say that this is a crazy video. And I want to say that I love this woman's content. I also love the accent too. But the craziest thing is that even if you are to bring this up to white people, white Americans, Europeans, somehow, some way they'll overlook it. They'll override it. They'll be like, we're going to sweep this under the rug. Oh, that was so long ago. It was bad, but it is what it is. But look at what's going down in South Africa. Look what the African immigrants are doing up in France and all these other, right? They'll decide to do some things like that to move the goalpost instead of focusing in on why would you do that? Why would you use somebody in that manner? Did you think or assume that, okay, well, if we still have a piece of this person here, then we still have a piece of their essence? Every sip, every drink that we take, we're sharing in the energies of that person, of the individual, which is no longer here. Is that really what you think? Because if that was the case, then shouldn't you use that exact same type of line of thinking when it deals with your ancestors, so that you can hold whatever power that they used to have and energy and yada, yada, yada? But that's not what you tend to do. Oddly enough, stories like this always tend to come up, and it's always a certain group of people that have to take on this type of disrespect even after they're gone, even after everything is said and done. You still have to try to find some type of way to disrespect or to say that you still have ownership or power over a certain individual, and then you want to quote unquote show this off or share it amongst your group of people, and then y'all want to chit chat and y'all want to laugh directly about it and ha ha ha, right? All these type of inside jokes. But this is what I said before. that the exact same treatment, the exact same disrespect, negative energy, the exact same captivity that you have placed others in, you yourself would be placed in, if not worse. So like I said, everything that you guys do, from past to present to future, is all on you, because it's going to get to a point in time that you're going to reach that corner that you can't escape out of. And now you're sitting directly in that cage. So I'm just going to allow the video to play. I can't play the sound because it's copyrighted music. We'll have problems. And I made sure side by side you could see the owner, the person who created Lululemons. You could see the title that they have for an article, and you can read the comment that he specifically made when he judged his corporation, his business, versus the Gap, where the Gap just allows everybody in. And as he stated before, you don't really want everybody in your store or in your business. And a lot of people will decide to state that, oh, well, that's open-ended. That could be anybody. No, we know specifically who it is that he's referring to and talking about. For a better example, you can look directly at the image that you see in front of you. How you have these women deciding that they want to go to the store of which that they don't own. They have no ownership of. They don't even have stocks in. They didn't put no money into, except for buying the clothes, and probably online. And they proceeded to dance to, I guess, Sexy Red or whatever it was. And they want to gyrate, they want to dance, show off their bodies, and do all of those things, right? Doing stuff that realistically you should not be doing, but they're doing it for clout. They're doing it to post on social media. They think that this is the thing to do. Now, I want to note, in other instances, people can more than likely pay to, let's say, if you have the money, you can shut down the store, and then you can decide to do something like that. If you got the money, they don't. So this is why they opted to have a cell phone or whatever it is, blasting the music, and then they went around and they had people filming on their cell phones. And you can see some of the customers look around, and you saw some, white people still going around, still buying their stuff, just looking and be like, okay, whatever. And going back, you saw a white dude in the background with this girl. He was just sitting up there. Let me just sit up there and film these black women here. This is entertainment. This is priceless. I'm going to, take this back home and show the boys, like, they won't believe that something like this was just happened, directly in front of me like that. You would have thought I was at a rap video, right? It's going to be that type of thing. He's going to take that footage. They're going to go back home, and they're going to be talking amongst themselves, talking about each and every single one of those black women because of the display that they decided to put on directly in that store, the way that they were acting, how their hair basically looks, the things that they were sitting up there saying. And then at a moment in time, if and only if those comments are ever released, somebody decides to do their own commentary, and they're white, they're going to let full loose on how it is that this is perceived and looked at. And inevitably, what will happen is that emotionally, you have those out there in the black community that will respond back with some type of energy again, which is not even needed, because this would have never happened if people would not have put themselves in this instance and performed these type of actions that nobody asked them to do. You got other places in the world that you can go. You can go directly to a beach. You can go directly to a forest. You can go directly to somewhere in the neighborhood, whatnot. You can go anywhere else to cause some type of distraction or do whatever it is that you want to sit up there and do. But you decide that this is what you want to do with your time and your energy. And you want to specifically, as a black woman, spend money with a business and or a corporation that told you that they don't want everybody there at their business. Even with that article being directly out there, even with that headline being directly out there, even with the person who created the business stating this, who is a Caucasian man, you're still going to forego all of that and give money directly over to somebody who doesn't want or like you. This is why, if at any moment in time that you just so happen to have the racist out there that decides to take this video and they want to make their own commentary, I'm not going to have nothing to say. Because it was already stated once that, hey, we don't really care about your money. If you want to spend your money, cool, but we just want you to know we don't even really want you here. We only want a certain caliber. We don't want a certain type of people here. And when you happen to have somebody say that, and then in contrast, you can throw a video like this up and it's happening directly in the same store of which somebody created, stated, what do you want me to do? How would you want me to magically defend this? Matter of fact, there is no defense for this, because there's not. Too many times we've had black people, elders, sit up there and tell us, don't spend your money where you're not wanted. Years, decades. And a lot of people seemingly act as though that they don't understand or pretty much don't care. Somebody stated before that it seems as though black people don't learn. So this is why they incur and suffer more pain, because that seemingly is what black people love the most. So I guess in order for us to actually learn, we have to incur more pain than what we are able to handle in order for us to actually get the message. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. As always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.